All right, you guys, it's happening. The triple Trump conspiracy theorists are calling for Trump to be removed from office. Right out of the gates, we have triple Trumper and batshit crazy Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene pop this up. She says 25th Amendment, not a single bomb has dropped on America. We cannot kill an entire civilization. This is evil and madness. Moving along, he's lost. Candace Owens, pop this up. Candace Owens says the 25th Amendment needs to be invoked. He is a genocidal lunatic. Our Congress and military need to intervene. We are beyond this madness. And leaving this up, Piers Morgan. She's responding to Piers Morgan, you guys. This is a brazen pre-admission of genocide against the Iranian people, which would obviously be a war crime. Madness. And you guys, he's lost Alex Jones. Alex Jones, play the clip.
Threat. How do we 25th Amendment is asked?
The problem is to get the 25th Amendment, it's harder than impeachment. You have to get 2/3 of the House and 2/3 of the
Senate. So what do we do?
Tackle Trump and pretend, let him pretend he's president and publicly report that he's going through a health issue and Vance take over.
I love that in the throes of removing a madman, they still have a conspiracy theory in it. But nonetheless, you guys, we have 4 triple Trumpers, sane washers, people that, so relieved that comedy's back, that pronouns are going to be out of emails. And it was all fun and games. It was all fun and games until now Trump, they are finally seeing for the first time what we have seen for over a decade. And I know it's frustrating as all get out, but this is incredibly, incredibly serious. Top White House officials are reporting to Axios the following. Put this up. Trump faces a momentous decision on a tight timeline. Carry out his threat to obliterate Iran beginning at 8 p.m. or delay the deadline again to give negotiations a chance. The president is the most bloodthirsty, like a mad dog, a U.S. official tells Axios. So his dictator arc is really complete. And if you think about Pete Hegseth firing generals and the reorganization of the military, and Trump saying recently he wants an additional $1.5 trillion to fund the military. This is what Trump wants. He said it forever. It's great when you're in a war because then you don't have elections. So do we think for a second that Trump is just joking around and this is bluster? No. All that bullshit about him, quote, solving 8 wars and his mad dash to get the Nobel Peace Prize, bullshit. Here's what he's telling Fox News right now. Play the clip.
I just got off the phone with the president, and he called, and I said, listen, if you were to put odds on it, what were the odds that this is going to end up being a negotiated deal? He said he wasn't going to put odds on it, but he said 8 p.m. is happening. That's what he said. He said it is, if we get to that point, there is going to be an attack like they have not seen. Now, he's sticking to that at this point. Now, he said,
okay, so he's staying the course, and I just think it's only a matter of time. This man is unhinged. He is doing what scholars call an autocratic gamble, where he knows his approval ratings are tanking, the economy is tanking, and so he just like an addict, he just keeps up in the ante, up in the ante, up in the ante, and he thinks his Hail Mary attempt at all of this is a big extended war so that he can stay in power. Because as shallow as this sounds, this is how shallow he is. He's laser focused on his ballroom, his arch, and his White House renovations. And I know that's not deep, and it's because this man isn't deep. If he goes to war abroad, then he can focus on his architecture and interior design projects. Yesterday at the White House Easter roll, he was carrying around an image of his arch, talking to everybody about it like a lunatic, and then wakes up this morning and he knows, because economic advisors, people in the Pentagon are like, look, buddy, Strait of Hormuz is closed. Oil is not going to make it to the United States of America. We are going to have massive economic problems because of this. So he's spiraling because he didn't listen to the people initially that advised him in the Pentagon. He shut those voices out, and he listened to Witkoff and Kushner and Bibi Netanyahu. And here we are. How does any of this benefit the United States of America? It does not. It only hurts us. And Iran's foreign ministry has rejected U.S. proposals and said they firmly refuse any negotiations conducted under the shadow of illegal sanctions, military threats, or coercion. And the Iranians, in an act of survival, are doing the following. Pop this video up. They are forming a human chain on the white bridge of Avaz in Iran. And you see them here. basically they're forcing a situation around power plants and on bridges to where these military, American military generals and people in the military services are going to either have to commit a war crime and bomb civilians and infrastructure or deny the orders of this president. To me, it's an obvious thing to do. The Democrats were warning about this ad nauseum. Do not listen to this man. But now you've got four of the top biggest conspiracy theorists, and this is before I didn't even mention Tucker Carlson in this, and a lot of Democrats are calling for the 25th Amendment as well. We have Chris Murphy, Yasmin Ansari, Melanie Stansberry, Sarah McBride, and more by the time this airs will continue to roll in. And we have Hakeem Jeffries with the following response. Congress must immediately end this reckless war of choice in Iran before Donald Trump plunges us into World War III. It's time for every single Republican to put patriotic duty over party and stop the madness. Enough. And Keith Edwards says Hakeem Jeffries is not meeting the moment. And I have to agree with him on this. I think that when Marjorie Taylor Greene, Candace Owens, Piers Morgan, Alex Jones, and Tucker Carlson are outflanking Democratic leadership right now, no more strongly worded letters. No more the Republicans need to do this. Act. Be a leader. Call for the 25th Amendment. Get your entire caucus on the steps of the Capitol. Get Republicans to stand there with you. Lead. Because you know who's not going to lead? Little Moses Mike Grinder Johnson. He's going to do whatever Trump tells him to do. Mr. Pro-Life, Mr. Moses Johnson. He will do whatever Trump tells him to do. If Trump commits war crimes, which he has, he bombed little girls in Iran at school. The big Christian, Mike Johnson, didn't care. So this is a time for Democrats to stand up because it's the right thing to do. But then I'm always reminded of the donors of the Democratic leadership, specifically AIPAC and Palantir. And these two places are heavily aligned with this fascist regime. So my point in being frustrated with these Democrats, these establishment Democrats, is how can they fight for us if they're taking money from the lobbyists that support this insanity? If you're getting outflanked by triple Trumper MAGA conspiracy theorists, we have a massive problem. I haven't heard, do we have a statement from Chuck Schumer? You guys, this news is breaking all the time. It's Chuckles. I haven't heard anything from Chuckles, who, by the way, like a month ago, told a room full of AIPAC donors that his number one job as senator is to make sure Israel has all the funding that it needs. And this is genocidal, homicidal insanity. Chuckles. Oh, here we go. Chuckles says, Senator Schumer, this is an extremely sick person. Each Republican who refuses to join us in voting against this wanton war of choice owns every consequence of whatever the hell this is. So, I personally do not think that these strongly worded tweets are effective. I think that the calls for the 25th Amendment, you should be on the steps of the Capitol, literally screaming it, getting a movement behind you. And I want to remind you guys that the approval rating of these two individuals is right there with Trump's, which is underwater. This is not a time to service donors. The donors, the people and the lobbyists that fund the Trump regime also fund our leadership. It is a time to cut off the funds and stand up for this country, stand up for humanity, stand up for what is right.